to the kiwimana.
Hi everyone, this is the Kiwimana Buzz, episode number 15, and this is a special chat with the guys from the Bear Country Bees. And today on the show we have Cody, Bryce and Bret, and they're from Salem in Utah. And they've just opened up a company selling beehives and beehive equipment, and they specialise in backyard beekeepers. So if you're in the area, check them out. Their link will be in the show notes. And the show notes for this show are kiwimana.co.nz/15. And this is another live chat that we're going to be doing, and we'd like to continue these. And we've actually got another one coming up on February the 24th, and that one is with Phil Chandler, the Barefoot Beekeeper, and Kevin Ingram from the BK Corner. Yeah, we find these little chats are a good way to actually talk to other people and see what's going on in different parts of the world. It was interesting, we're talking to the guys from the Bear Country Bees and hearing all about their trials and tribulations with llamas. And so, yeah, check it out. It's an interesting story. Yeah, apologise about the beginning. The audio is a bit funny because there was some kind of issue with feedback there, but it's got sorted after about 5 minutes. But I left it all in so you can get the full story. Anyway, sit back and enjoy this, and hopefully you can join us for the live chat on the 24th. And if you're keen to be interviewed on the podcast at some point, drop us an email at info@kiwimana.co.nz or visit us on our webpage and click on the Contact Us. Thank you. Yeah, hi everyone, this is Gary here from the Kiwimana Buzz, and today we've got the guys from Bear Country Bees. We've got Cody, Bryce and Bret, all the way from Salem in Utah, and I understand it's getting quite cold there at the moment. So how are you going, guys?
Great, how are you tonight?
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, so it's afternoon here, so it's very nice. So it's night time there, isn't it? That's cool. Yeah, so you guys have been keeping bees for, how long have you had bees for?
We've been doing this for about 8 or 9 years. I'm not sure exactly.
Wow, okay. And you started a business in, was it November?
We did.
We made it official in
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's the same time that we started selling beekeeping supplies as well. So, yep, sort of, we've got something in common. That's cool. And so, what do you guys sell? Is it just Is it mainly the hobbyists or commercial guys or?
We do. We target the backyard beekeepers just because that's kind of the facilities that we have. Is the backyard beekeeper, and this word of mouth is. So far has been the main way to attract customers.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good way to do it. So do you have a lot of commercial guys there? I mean, a lot of backyard beekeepers in Salem.
Right now we're hitting a large increase in our area in backyard beekeeping. Really hit a peak here, and so it's a prime time for us starting this business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's because the issues with CCD and stuff like that are kind of affecting it, and I think a lot of people are becoming aware of the problems the bees are having, aren't they? So
they really are.
Yeah,
that's been in the media quite a bit here in Utah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so, how many hives do you guys actually have at the moment?
Right now, we only have functioning hives. We're around 25 at one. We got hit several times. Colony collapse and valve in our laying in. We had a little bit of trouble. Knocked over all of the one. And so we're down to one now.
Oh wow! Was it a llama? You were saying?
What was that?
What knocked them down? A llama?
Yeah, the llama just went in and kicked them all.
Oh.
Inside gated area.
Well, that's a unique problem to have, isn't it?
Definitely one.
Yeah.
Fortunately for the llama, he was not our llama. Probably be a jury
Absolutely. So, have you got like a fence around them now and stuff, around the hives, or?
We did then too.
Yeah. Cool. And so, how's that how's that hive going then? Is it okay? I guess you haven't opened it for a few months, have you?
Well, right now it's under snow, but when we checked them in the fall, they were doing really well. They're keeping warm, and so as of right now, we're pretty good.
Oh, that's good. Fantastic. Yeah, so what I guess one of the things you probably would have liked to know before you started beekeeping was don't keep llamas in the same field. Is that one of the things?
That's the problem we didn't anticipate. And the interesting thing was there were hives there was actually a problem out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, maybe they're just itchy or something, because they scratch against them, don't they? I know cows here do that. Yeah. Okay, and so what's your biggest tips for beginner beekeepers then, or backyard beekeepers?
The things that were very valuable to us, we found a person that would mentor us, help us, that would help every step of the way. I think that's probably the big help that anyone can have. Someone that has the experience that you do. We've done that many people now. In supporting bachelor beekeeping. Just make sure you have somebody that's more mistakes than you have. So that you don't have to make those same mistakes.
No, that's true.
I would add to that, with a mentoring, just really to learn timing. When to buy your bee packages for the next year, when to split your hives, when to extract. Knowing that timing and being prepared for it was a bit of a learning curve for us. And, luckily we did have that mentor that helped us through that. But, everyone that wants to get started in beekeeping should really discuss with their mentor, specific timings and that kind of thing. I think that's a really big help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one more thing I'd add to that is learning to recognize potential problems, getting on top of them before it gets any bigger. Learning to recognize the diseases, learning to recognize situations where your hive is struggling, those kinds of things. And part of it, just comes through your own experience, making your own mistakes. But like Bryce and Dad said, having a mentor there to kind of help you, someone you can ask questions to is quite valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can read a lot of things on the internet, and that's terrific. And I recommend that someone reads everything that they possibly can, but there's just nothing quite like down-home experience to really be able to understand the needs, the whys, the wherefores, so that you can make this whole process work, because it really is quite complicated for the beginner.
Yeah, it is. I think about a lot of beginners ask a lot of questions about treatments and stuff. So, when do you put treatments in? When do you do this? And
right.
So we actually run like a buddy group here, which has beginner people here. So we kind of mentor them a lot. So that's really helpful.
That's great.
Yeah. Also, is that part of your package kind of thing? You sort of get asked questions about from new customers and stuff like that?
That's one of the biggest goals that we have as Bear Country Bees, is to help as many people get started as possible and to be that mentor, because we now have enough experience and we've made quite a few mistakes along the way. So we can kind of help people avoid that. We can walk them through how to do it. Here in Utah, most of the people that really want to do it live in really close proximity to us, so it's pretty easy for us to mentor people. But that's, again, one of our biggest focuses is making sure that we're available to help people get started, and that we'll do everything we can to help them.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's good. What's the most exciting thing you guys have done in beekeeping so far? Have you get to wrestle any bears? Because obviously your name's Bear Country.
I think we all have kind of our own unique experiences, so I guess we'll go ahead and we'll start with Cody on this one. All right.
Yeah, okay, Cody. Yeah.
One of my favorites. My dad has a colleague, and she called us up one day, and so we go up to her house, and she takes us out around to the corner, and we notice bees that are starting to fly inside the house, and she wants them out of there. You know, I can't blame her. And it's brick and vinyl on the outside, and the bees are getting in there, and you know, she wants them out of there, and we have to figure out how to do this without destroying her house, outside or on the inside. What we finally ended up having to do was we went inside and we went into the corner of the house where they were. We had to peel back the carpet and the padding, cut out the floor, and in the middle of a really nice bedroom, get all these bees out of here without totally destroying the place. It was an adventure trying to get that one done.
Yeah.
And then putting the house back together, that corner of the house back together. So we had to use a modified bee vacuum and make sure we got everything out of there. There was honeycomb all over the place. It was kind of messy down where the bees had made their hive. So getting that cleaned up and making sure that the bees, you know, wouldn't go back there in the future, that was it was pretty entertaining. So
yeah. You managed to get the queen okay?
Yes, we did. We were able to get identify the queen, pull her out, and put her in the hive.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that's one thing that we haven't actually tried here yet, doing, they call it cutouts in America, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fantastic. And how about you, Cody?
For me, I would say when we lived up in Idaho, which is about 4 hours north of where we live now, we got a call from somebody nearby that said, we have 2 really big bee swarms, and we need you to come pick them up. So, you know, we figured maybe we could get a hive or 2 out of them if we were really lucky. We went out to the site, and we instantly saw that it was going to be a lot more than 2 hives. Just to give you kind of an idea, the swarm was about that tall, about 3 feet. Wow, about 3 feet tall, and about this big around, about 2.5 feet wide. So it was a massive swarm. There were 2 of these columns hanging on a tree branch. And at the time, Cody wasn't available, so my dad asked me to come along and capture the swarm with him. And we had probably 15 or 20 people out there watching us, you know, get these 2 big, huge bee swarms out. And it ended up filling 5 beehives, five boxes basically. So that was probably still the biggest one that we've ever captured.
Yeah.
One thing we did forget to do, though, is what Cody had just mentioned, that we forgot to separate the queens out of the new hives. And so they all just kind of piled back into the original hive once we had them situated, because we had them right next to each other. So they all went back to the original one instead of staying separated like we had intended.
Oh, okay.
We split into 5 different hives, but we didn't put several miles in between each hive, so they all just congregated back in. We were rookies. That was one of our mistakes. And I think probably the most fun for me was the first time we extracted honey.
Yeah.
Someone had given us an old 45 frame extractor, and at the time we did not have a honey house to put it in. And people told us that we had to have it isolated so that the bees could not get back into the honey as we were extracting.
Yeah.
So we put it in the back of our van.
Okay.
And we put the 45 frames in there, and I had no idea how much honey would come out of 45 frames, so I had 1 5-gallon bucket. And our extractor was out of balance, so our whole van was shifting from side to side, just the way an extractor will do. And we finally got that under control. The honey started pouring out, and I finally got to the point where I realized a 5-gallon bucket was not going to be enough, that we were going to have more honey than 5 gallons.
Yeah.
So I'm hollering and screaming at the kids to go find more buckets. They came out with the water jugs and milk cartons and everything else for us to put honey in, and we finally got it done. But it was a lot of fun for the whole family on that one. This has been a fun thing for our whole family to do, is to be in the beekeeping business. So
yeah, well,
there's always a drawback with this thing. I'm sorry?
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, it's really fantastic that you guys are all working together on the same business.
It's a lot of fun.
We enjoy it. It's a big part of our relationship with each other.
Fortunately, I have good kids, so that makes it easy.
Yeah,
Our dad's
absolutely.
not so bad either. So. It's nice of him to put up with this.
Yeah, it's good. So what do you guys think is the biggest issue facing beekeeping in the world today then?
Let's go, Cody.
I think even mainstream media and Congress has actually held hearings on the problem of colony collapse disorder, and it's something that we don't quite, part of the reason that it is such a problem is because we don't understand quite what causes it. But you'll have a perfectly good, healthy hive up and functioning just smoothly, and you'll go out there, all the bees will be gone, there won't be any bodies, and it's like they just disappeared into thin air, and we don't know what causes it. I've read several different articles. There's several different theories out there. I read one not too long ago suggesting that the radiation from cell phones might be interfering with it. But, when you've got all these theories out there, I think in all honesty, we just don't know what's causing it. And it's become a serious problem. Some of the commercial beekeepers, this is their livelihood, and, they lose. We knew a guy up in Rexburg who lost 60% of his 60% of his colonies in a single year because of CCD. So it's definitely a challenge, and it's something that we need to take seriously and look into finding the cause and a solution for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it could even be a combination of factors, couldn't it? I don't know if it's one specific thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, well, thanks, Cody. And so what do you think, Bryce? It's a similar thing, or?
I would agree that it's definitely the colony collapse disorder, and mostly for the reason that we just don't understand it. We don't understand how to save the bees from just upping and leaving. With the Varroa mites and with foul brood, we know what causes it. We've been able to, for the most part, eradicate the Varroa mites. Foul brood is just something you have to make sure and pay attention to, make sure the bees have good hygiene and that kind of thing. But there's not currently any rhyme or reason for colony collapse disorder. Like Cody said, we've read up and researched extensively to try to see if we can find, what other people have said on it, see if we can do some experiments of our own. It seems that for now the only thing that has been suggested that can help with colony collapse disorder is just improving the bee hygiene. So, making sure that the boxes are cleaned out regularly, make sure they have clean water, clean environment, away from llamas, and all that kind of thing. But just promoting the general health of your bees is one of the biggest recommendations for helping with colony collapse. I'm sure there's other reasons for it, but that's something that we've been taking seriously. We're trying some different experiments and that kind of thing to see if we can't help cut down the number of hives we lose to colony collapse.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another good thing to do is to cycle out your brood frames every so often, every couple of years. Yes. Yeah. So that helps with the hygiene.
Yeah, one of the things that we're experimenting with right now is using the plastic frames instead of the wooden frames, and we're experimenting to see if we can find a good method to wash them in a manner that won't harm the bees, but will be able to get rid of any diseases that may be on them. That way, the frames, if it does work, we can reuse the frames. We can have them cleaned on a regular basis, and just make it so that it doesn't harm the bees. So it's one of the things we're testing right now. Yeah.
I mean, can you actually boil plastic frames? I don't know. I've never used plastic, but.
Sorry, what was the question?
I was saying you could boil them maybe, but I'm not sure.
One of the things we're trying is a dishwasher.
Don't tell Mom
maybe a little bit unorthodox, but don't tell Mom that. But try doing the dishwasher on just the wash cycle. Take the heat cycle off so it doesn't melt the frames. Boiling is another option. Spraying, steaming them. You know, just a variety of things. We're just going to try them, test them out, and see them. And then, you know, if we find something that really works, we'll go ahead and we'll throw it up on our website as an announcement. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. And how about you, Bret? What do you think's the major issue?
I really think that, you know, this disease thing is just huge for us. Keeping our bees alive, whether that's from the llama disease or whether that's from the, you know, colony collapse or whether that's from anything else. But actually understanding when it's appropriate to use medications, you know, the timing of the medications, that type of thing. Like Cody said earlier, making sure you jump on it early. If you do have something going on in your hive, to be able to diagnose what it is so that you can treat it quickly. So to me, that knowledge factor is one of the greatest issues facing our backyard beekeepers, because, you know, we're not the professionals, we're not the commercial people, but giving our backyard beekeepers enough understanding so that they can keep their bees healthy and alive.
Yeah.
So to me, that's really the big issue is helping to educate our beekeepers themselves. That educational, I'm a professional educator here in Utah, and so education to me is quite a large issue. And there's so much information that needs to be disseminated. Being able to do that in a timely manner is, to me, is quite a large factor that we're trying to address right now.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea, and you know, and with your blog and your website, you can spread that education around, can't you, as well, to a bigger audience.
This new media is fabulous.
That's certainly what we try and do with our blog. Try and you know, spread the news to beginner beekeepers and things that we try and things that fail and things that don't fail. That's good. Mm-hmm. Right. So, I was going to ask you, what do you treat your varroa mites with over there in Salem?
A couple of things. Is that varroa, right?
Yeah. Hi guys, sorry, you dropped off there for some reason.
Sorry about that.
Was it a llama or?
Well, if it is, we'll get him this time.
Yeah, get him. Yeah, so you were just talking about what you use to treat the varroa mites there, Bret. So
the varroa mites.
What do you guys use?
They've become so resistant to the apistan that that really hasn't worked for us this last while here in Utah. And I don't know if you're having that same problem in New Zealand or not, but the apistan it just is not working for us. And honestly, since that has become an issue, we really haven't had to address it with Varroa. We have not had a problem with that. Oh, I guess I should get in the picture, huh? Sorry.
That's all right, no worries.
So for the last 3 or 4 years, we've been fortunate. We've not had a problem with varroa mites, so we really haven't done a whole lot with it, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Do you think your bees are becoming more resistant to it or something?
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
You know, if I knew anything about bee genetics, I'd be able to tell you that answer, but I'm afraid I don't. So.
Yeah, it does. It does appear to me that the bees in America are becoming more resistant to mites, whereas in New Zealand they haven't got to that stage yet.
Haven't gotten there.
We're probably like 5 years behind you guys.
Oh, on that one.
Yeah, because we've only had varroa since 2000.
So what are you doing?
Interesting.
We either use Epilifar, which is like a thymol based thing, or use the exilic vaporizer, the exilic acid. We've been using that this season, so that's working quite well. Yeah, it's going alright. It's basically the treatments, you have to do them in 3 weeks, so it's sort of like, you know, a week apart, so it takes 3 weeks to treat a hive. So that works quite well, and we've got mesh boards, and we also do drone management as well to remove drones from the hives. So it sort of stops a bit of the mites, but it's kind of labour intensive. But yeah,
that's what we were using at the end. There was the drone management. So
yeah, I mean, I think this day and age you've got to use multiple things just to get rid of a few mites. You can't just do one thing. That's my approach anyway.
Build up an immunity to, the first treatment that you give them. And so to really eradicate them well, you probably have to give the bees a variety of safeguards against the mites.
I know. I know here they're recommending that people use different treatments every year or every season. And they don't use the same thing every season, so that it's but I think they have already, a lot of the mites here have built resistance to epistene, so it's becoming less and less effective. But we haven't used that for 3 or 4 years now, so we're just trying to use these natural products at the moment. But it seems to be working alright. So so the next question I've got here is, what pests do you have? Obviously you've got mites, and obviously you've got llamas, we talked about that. But do you have a problem with bears there? And
with bears? Our name is Bear Country Bees, but we don't really have any bears in the city where we live. The sightings here are pretty rare. There are mountains surrounding, kind of the valley here, and there are bears in the mountains, but they don't usually come down to where we are. So we haven't really had any problems with them particularly, but
I know one of the big deterrents that is used in this area though is electric fences, using solar-powered electric fences, and I've never heard anyone complain about the money they spent on the electric fence to keep the bears out. They seem to be pretty effective. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen photos here of beehives that have been attacked by bears, and they're just trashed, aren't they?
And I've known some other beekeepers here that have been hit by bears, and they said but I'll put my llama up against their bears any day.
Absolutely. And so, do you have what other pests do you have in your beehives? Do you have like small hive beetles there?
I'll turn that to Bryce.
Sorry, what was that one more time?
Oh, small hive beetles. Do you have those?
We do have the small hive beetle, but not to the extent that it's destructive. We see a few here and there, and our control method right now is the you squish 'em method. So we just take them and squish the few that we have, and so that's really not much of an issue for us.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wax beetle is a bigger problem for us. So wax moth, excuse me.
Oh yeah, we have those here. Yeah, if it's not a strong hive, they can destroy a hive, can't they?
And it sure makes a mess out of your frames and your boxes when you're trying to scrape it with your hive tool. Sure makes it hard to get that done properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also burrow into the wood too, don't they? So you can actually see holes. Yeah,
and that's what I mean is they make ruts in the wood. So when you're trying to scrape with your hive tool, if you're not careful with it, at that point it could be destructive to your frame.
Yeah,
if you're pushing too hard, in too big of a hurry trying to get it scraped off, and you have those ruts in there, it just makes a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's good. So do you guys want to bring up anything else?
Well, let's see. One of the things I wish I'd known early on, because I am mildly allergic to bee stings, I wish that because of the type of veil that I have, when I would bend over, it would come across the back of my neck, and I was continually stung along the back of my neck.
Oh, okay.
So now I just throw a towel there, keeps it off my neck, and I don't have to address that issue anymore. Just make sure that you put your equipment on properly. Last fall, I didn't quite have everything zipped up properly, and was stung 18 times before I could get out of there. And that one was not a whole lot of fun, but
wow.
Anticipate a sting or two here and there. It's part of the ball game. And, people have told me I can never be a beekeeper because I'm afraid of getting stung, or it hurts too much to be stung, or that kind of thing. But I guess my philosophy is, a person that is a runner, he's a lot more sore than I'll ever be with beekeeping. A person that pumps weight, lifts weights, they're going to hurt a lot more than I ever will as a beekeeper. And so that argument doesn't hold a whole lot of water for me. We all sacrifice for the things that we love to do, and a bee sting here or there. And honestly, I'd rather be stung by a bee than bit by a mosquito, for the fact that a mosquito bite lasts 3 days, a bee sting lasts a few minutes, and it hurts for a few minutes and then it's gone. But the mosquito bite, I'm scratching for several days, and so to me the trade-off is, at least I get honey out of a bee. I don't get anything out of a mosquito. So
no,
those are just some of the things that are fun for me. I do wear a hearing aid, and I recommend that anyone that does that, go ahead and take it off before they go work their bees. One time it dropped out inside my veil, and I thought I had a bee in there with me, and so I about destroyed my hearing aid. But, those types of things. Just a lot of common sense things. But it sure is a fun hobby to have. Like I say, it's been really for my family and I. We really enjoyed it. We love the honey. Love to try some of your Manuka honey someday. And
I'll have to send some over for you.
I tried to send some to New Zealand once. My parents were in New Zealand, and Customs got it. So unfortunately, we can't take it back.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, we understand that. That's fine. I mean, it's probably okay sending stuff to you, but not the other way around, because we've got quite strict biosecurity rules, which is good because it stops.
It is.
We haven't got a lot of diseases that other countries have got. Absolutely.
But like I say, as a family activity, it's a great way to go.
Yeah.
I tell people I don't know too many of your pets that actually produce something for you. A dog is great, but you're continually feeding and watering the dog, and you don't get any product back other than the affection. Same thing with a cat. Your honey, you stick that on your shelf and you use it all year long. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so do your neighbors.
Well, it's good. It's good to give honey to your neighbors, isn't it? To make them sweeten the deal, isn't it? You get little complaints that way too.
And it doesn't take a whole lot to sweeten that deal with your neighbors either.
No.
We live in a little bit more of a rural area inside our city, so people have larger lots, many gardens around us. Almost every neighbor has a garden of one size or another. And when I put bees in my backyard, at first I was a little bit nervous that neighbors would complain or be worried about a bee stinging one of their children. But their garden productivity increased at such a rate that I mentioned to one of my neighbors that I was going to put all of my beehives over on this other farmer's land, and he said, just keep one or two of them here, because our gardens have never been so good except for the time that you brought in your bees, so keep them here.
It makes a big difference, doesn't it, Brett?
It really does. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think bee stings are really a detriment. I mean, not a detriment, but a bad thing. I mean, I think you're more likely to get back strain, don't you think?
I think you're right.
And you will build up an immunity to bee stings. You won't. They may sting really bad at first. You may notice them, but over time, maybe it's just your attention to them won't be so great. You'll just get stung and it'll kind of be like, oh, just another bee sting. So people that do have fears about getting stung, it'll wear off. After the first initial shock of the first sting or two, that's kind of, a learner's curve. But after that, you really don't have too much problem.
Nah,
that's
fine.
one thing that I would recommend to people who are going to get or are interested in getting started. It's a good idea to go out and actually get yourself stung once, just to make sure to see if you have any allergic reactions. That way you know up front, and you're not doing it when you don't have medical help nearby. So that is definitely a safety precaution that I would give to everybody, is to make sure that they can handle a bee sting. All they need is one sting. They don't have to sit around for the rest of the party. They can bail after they get the first one. But that's definitely a safety precaution that needs to be taken.
It's good advice, and also to get your hands in a hive and, to actually experience what it's like looking at frames, things like that. Yep. It's good for beginners too. Because some people might freak out.
For people that want to start, if they're really wanting to make it a business, I cannot recommend highly enough starting a personal website and doing internet marketing. That is by far the best way to get your name out and to start selling things. That's kind of our main focus for our store is on the internet, and that's really where the business is these days. So if anybody's wanting to do it more than just for a hobby, definitely invest in getting a good solid website and really market it on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and
I know we've made all. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Oh no, just saying that we get a lot of traffic from Google. Oh, I think you've gone again.
And we're back.
Yeah, you need to get that llama sorted out there, Bryce.
I was just going to say one thing, Gary, about here in the United States. If a person really wants to become or go into the bee business, then they're really going to have to address pollination contracts. Over 80% of all the commercial beehives in America go to California in late winter to pollinate the almond groves that are in California. The money is extremely good. The disease and the exchange of diseases is extremely bad. But here in the United States, this last year, the farmers or the orchard growers and almonds were paying about $140 American per hive, and so the financial reward there is significant.
Yeah.
At our 25 hives, we had a contract to send our hives down before the llama got hold of us and took us down. But the pollination is just absolutely huge here in America, just because of the agricultural impact that it has on it. So, like I say, anyone that wants to go commercial side needs to consider that. For those that we really target, the backyard beekeeper, then they just do it for their neighbors as a good neighbor gesture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think there's a shortage of bees in California, isn't there, this season?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's quite the shortage. So if you do want to get into this, get in soon, because they're badly needed right now. And the prices just keep on going up. So.
Well, that's good for beekeepers, I suppose, but not good for bees, because they've had a lot of losses in California too this season. Because we've got some friends in California whose neighbours lost 60% of their hives.
Yeah,
so that's quite shocking.
And again, we don't know all the causes behind it, but once again, it is a serious issue. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys will be gearing up for your spring then? So getting ready for the season? Yep,
we've been, during the winter we've been putting together content, for our website and looking for contracts for getting equipment. So we're gearing up and we're going to be ready come spring, I think. So we're really excited for this.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we found that our beginner beekeeping kits sold really well. Like the whole thing's set up, like the frames are built and the boxes are done, because beginners just don't know how to do all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One way that does help reduce the costs a little bit of your initial startup is going out and capturing swarms. Before we got into beekeeping, we only ever really came in contact with one swarm out in our tree there. My brother Bryce was out looking up at it. I still remember it. I was a young kid, but I remember seeing Bryce looking up at this big swarm of hives, and like my blood ran cold. I was like, he's gonna die. But when they're swarming, bees are actually extremely gentle. And ever since we started paying attention to beehives in the area, or to swarms in the area, you know, letting people know that we do capture swarms, we get 3 or 4 calls every year, and that's really helped us out financially. So for anyone getting started, let people know that you're willing to go out and capture your own swarms.
Oh,
yeah, just along with that, one of the best ways that we've found to get our name out there, like Cody was saying, let your local police departments and fire departments know, because usually people will call to the fire department or the police department if they don't look it up on the internet, you know, beekeeping, swarm removal, or something to that effect. They'll go to the fire department. The fire department has a list of everybody that is willing to go and capture bees. So if you go give your name to, you know, the fire departments in your area, usually they'll be the ones that'll call you up and say, you know, we need you to come get the swarm out of here. And when they do give you that call, then you need to jump on it right away, because you never know how long that swarm's going to be there. We've had just a few that we've missed out on because we waited a little bit too long. You know, we've been pretty good about jumping on it as quick as we get the call. And it's been able to capture a fair number of swarms over the years. But, you know, the more swarms you can get, the faster your business or even just your hobby can grow. Because it definitely does take, you know, it does take more bees if you want to get bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we've got 18 hives now at the moment, so...
Oh, great. Good for you.
It's a lot. Yeah. But we've been splitting them. Yeah, well, we're okay with llamas. Got cows, but not llamas, so... No, they're okay. They're in a different field, so that's all fine. Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great, guys. So, have you got anything else to say there, Bryce, or...?
Do either of you guys have anything else? I think I'm good, but I would just say, you know, beekeeping does take quite a bit of work to get started. But for us, it has been one of the most fulfilling activities that we've been able to do as a family over the years.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a lot of fond memories together and that kind of thing, and that even more so than the business aspect is important to us. Is, you know, the family memories that we've been able to create. You know, friendships that we've been able to create with other beekeepers or people that we've gone and captured swarms from. You know, it's just a great way to contribute to your community, to have a lot of fun. Yeah, it does require a lot of hard work, but when it pays off, there's nothing better than just, you know, like my dad said, seeing that honey come out and having too much to fill the buckets that you have.
Yeah.
There's really just nothing to compare to it. It's just a lot of fun. You know, if anybody is concerned about starting beekeeping, I would say, you know, just be willing to work hard and be willing to make mistakes and just keep with it. And you can become a beekeeper and you'll have as much fun as we have with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just contradict Bryce just a little bit here.
It's not fun?
In reality, here in where we live, we do need to feed our bees, you know, sugar water for a short amount of time in the spring until the blossom is there. And so if you're going to have pets, you know, for about 3 or 4 weeks, we feed them once a week. Just out of the whole year, we feed our pets about, like, say, 4 times a year. We really only go into their hive every so often during the summer, in the fall we do have to extract the honey, and that's a little bit more work, but it's more play than it is work for me. And then at this time of winter, then they're snowed under, and we let them be, and then we see them again in the spring. So as far as upkeep for the bees, as long as you keep them hygienic, they're really pretty easy to take care of as far as pets go. So I'll contradict my son there.
It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
We sure do appreciate your time here today.
Oh, no, that's fine. It's been great to talk to you. So how do people get in touch with you guys in spring, getting ready for bee season? What's the best way to get in touch with you guys to buy a hive?
Well, we have a number of ways. We do have a website, which is listed below. It's just bearcountrybees.com. And we have a page for contacting us. It's got all of our contact information. We do have a YouTube channel. We do have a Google Plus page. We have a Facebook page and several others. So we're fairly easy to find for the most part. You can also just go to Google and type in Bear Country Bees, and we're the first one there.
That's fantastic.
That's probably the easiest way to get in contact with us. But we have email available, telephone, and you can get through us through any of the social media sites. So. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I guess are you setting stuff all over America, or just
we're
in the
actually
area?
We're focusing mostly on America right now. Both my brother and I speak Japanese, and so that's one of the places we want to kind of expand to. We'd really like to go, as far as we can with it, depending on resources and language and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we promise we won't be competition to you.
But again, our biggest goal. Yeah. Again, our biggest goal is just to help as many backyard beekeepers as we can. Where they are is not so important to us is helping them and creating a relationship with them.
Yeah,
so that's kind of our main goal. We also want to really help repopulate the bee population. They've been wiped out by several different diseases, and this is one of the best ways we know how to do it. So, we just want to help anybody we can.
Oh, I think so. I think the hobbyists are actually helping the bees quite a lot lately, so it's been good. Oh, well, that's fantastic, guys, and thanks for joining our chat, and and good luck for the rest of your winter, and watch out for the llamas. So it's been good to talk to you all.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gary. We appreciate it.
Good luck on your extraction this year. You're about there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just about there. So got a box in the kitchen right now. So.
Oh, fabulous! So
that's what we like to hear.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Cheers, guys.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.